This week, Kieran Morn from Rockstars Cars caught up with Mike Lindup, keyboard player and singer with British jazz funk pop band Level 42. Kieran asked him first where he stands on the subject of EVs and if he's ready yet to commit to a battery electric car.
Well, I promised my son that my next car will be an EV.
Okay.
So I've been kind of following the debates and the arguments and the progress, and my view is that the future is should be multi-pronged. I don't think EVs are solely the answer. Me and my ex-wife, in 2007 we bought a Prius, particularly because I felt that we should encourage the motor industry to sort of look for alternatives. We had that car for 4 years, and that was I thought it was a really good car. It's a Mark II car. I mean, yes, I know people like Clarkson complain about it, and it's got this little tiny petrol engine that sort of whizzes on the motorway and when you hit a hill when you're fully laden. But, it worked. Right now, I think EVs, but in combination with hybrids, because to be honest, I sometimes have to drive from Scotland down to Brighton when my son is at university. I'm not sure that I could actually go for an EV right now, but I would like to. But when they get the charging infrastructure sorted out and they get the cars lighter because they're so heavy. I mean, I have the same complaint about the current Formula One cars, and I think some of the drivers do too. I mean, great, they're quicker, they're breaking all the records and so on, but they're so heavy. And, I'm of Colin Chapman's ethos, performance through lightness. I think that's the thing, we need to bring lightness back to cars, and I think that will help everything. That will help the EVs. Obviously, alternative fuels, hydrogen, eco-fuels, biofuels, all that needs to be investigated. And like I say, a kind of multi-pronged answer rather than it all being eggs in one basket.
And I mean, John's driven a couple of 100 miles today on an EV. You're an EV convert. I think you've got to be able to plan your journey better than the likes of me in my diesel car, who's a bit lazy, who just knows he can pull over for fuel. So we're not planners. But I think if you change how you drive...
I mean, my neighbours, I have two neighbours that live close to me in Scotland. They've got EVs.
Yep.
And he had his car was the Jaguar I-Pace for a number of years, which he loved. But he eventually swapped it for a Tesla just because he had lots of projects around and he just couldn't charge easily on the sort of the normal infrastructure. Right. So he's gone to the Tesla infrastructure that serves him better. My other neighbours, her parents live in Cornwall, so they regularly drive down with their EV to Cornwall. But of course they have to plan the journey and the stops and all of that. I think I'm obviously talking from someone who hasn't owned and run an EV, and that would probably be a more informed experience than my prejudice or my guessing about what it might be like.
Yes.
So I'm kind of open to the idea, but I'm not quite convinced that would be, for me, the next choice. It might be a step, might be a hybrid into an EV, but we'll see.
Okay.
Many thanks to Kieran from Rockstars Cars for letting us listen in on this interview with Mike Lindup from Level 42. If you want to know more about what Mike is up to, he has a solo album out now called Changes 2, and is preparing with the rest of Level 42 for their UK tour next year. Next week, join us when we talk to Steve Howe from Yes.